Oh, it's morning. It's morning, and welcome to Dave Does Movies and Music. Well, so today, what is the plan for today? That is the big question. Well, not a lot, really, in all honesty, on the live stream today. So I've left this as an open forum, so anyone is more than welcome to come and join me on the live stream if you think you have something valuable to add about movies, about music. We've got things like you can come and talk about things like Dave Does. That's always a cool one. If you want to talk about the channel, you can talk about Alec Bartai, we'll talk about Dimas Senapati, you can talk about Indonesian music, you can ask me questions about why did I move all the content off the channel. Why not just stick to one channel? Why have I gone off and done so many? You can ask about what's happening with ABK. You can ask me about what's going on with the Man Teller Scribe. You can ask about why I haven't done any collaborations if you want. It really is up to you. But you're more than welcome to join. Now, there is a link in the description down below. There is a Zoom link. So if you fancy coming on the channel and actually asking face-to-face a question, or you can raise a topic, maybe there's a topic you want to talk about a movie, maybe you're a big Stephen King fan, or maybe you're a Nightwish fan or something like that, you can talk about it. But in the meantime, while we're waiting, so I'm noodling away on the guitar today because I was working on something yesterday, and I've got to go back in. I'm back in the studio. When am I back in the studio? Tuesday, hopefully. Our studio had a big fire at the studio, so we're currently kind of like, is it going to happen? Don't know. But in the meantime, I'm just kind of noodling away. I was actually playing Unforgiven, Metallica. As if I've forgotten how to play it. Sorry like that. Anyway, right, let's talk about some topics. Actually, I'm going to keep holding my guitar. It's like a comfort blanket. Here's a question, and I might raise this with the ADK guys as well. Why do we listen to depressing music when we are depressed and happy music when we're happy? Surely you would swap them around. You'd listen to happy music when you're depressed to try and cheer you up, wouldn't you? It's a weird thing. We like to suffer, don't we, as human beings? We like to go on and sit there, and we're depressed already, so we will listen to really more depressing music. And for some reason, listening to depressing music makes us feel better as a whole when we're depressed. But when we're really happy, we like to stay in that mood set, so we listen to more happy music. But it's just weird that we don't listen to alternative styles. And this kind of concept for me came out of the idea of I was sitting there with Andy and Kirk the other day, and the thought process that was going through my head when we were talking was about, why do we listen to the music we listen to? And I've been thinking a lot about this. So why is it I listen to hard rock, soul, a bit of funk in there, stuff like that, stuff with more of a groove? Why is it I don't like death metal? Why is it the deathcore stuff? A melodic death metal maybe I like a little bit, but why do I not like that deathcore sort of stuff and the real aggressive stuff? But Andy will really love that guttural vocals. We did a video on the new Tesseract song the other day, and Andy really didn't like the clean vocals. I really liked the clean vocals, so did Kirk. But why is that? Was it our upbringing? Was it the people that we or the people that brought us up? Because I never listened to metal or rock when I was a kid. My household, my parents didn't listen to metal or rock. So why is it? And that's a kind of more of a deep philosophical question to ask a question. And that's why I think also this mood music. So when I'm feeling sad, a good one for me would be REM's Everybody Hurts. Love that song. Love just if I'm feeling maybe it's because it allows you to have that emotional outpouring. when you start singing a song like that and you're like, everybody hurts, you feel that motion is maybe it's a conduit for that emotional level. And that's why we listen to these sort of songs, because it allows us to outpour that emotional feeling that we've had of sorrow or depression. Whereas if it's happy music, it allows us to kind of get that positivity out, and you're vibing, and it's just, again, it's another conduit to allow you to do it, because otherwise there's no real way for you to express it. So maybe it's a way of expressing is why we listen to depressive music or happy music or whatever it might be. Don't know. There you go. That's one thing I thought I'd ask about. Okay, what have we got here? We have, I made some notes earlier just about some topics I've kind of been noodling around my head today, because so one question that's come up the other day, someone asked me, is like, what? So hang on, why have you've gone from being a music reactions channel with some covers and stuff like that in it and a few other bits, and earlier in the year you tried doing like taste testing and stuff, and I was like, well, yeah, I you tried different things. So simply put, what happened was the music channel, reaction channel, had pretty much died where it was, and the problem with that was because I diversified the channel. If I'd stayed as a rock channel from day one, I would be able to grow that, but I didn't. I did Alip Ba Ta and Indonesian music, and it split the audience, and then people just kind of stopped watching and didn't get notifications, etc. So it made no sense to do that. I then thought, well, maybe I could change the channel up, because after 4 years of doing this, I was earning about £10 a month off of ad revenue. It just wasn't worth putting out 30 videos a month. And all that work in it for £10, it's just not worth it. So I had to try and look at what could be possibly worth doing. So I tried like taste testing stuff, and they didn't really do anything video wise, and it just wasn't working. So what I did was I took all of the Indonesian music off, and I launched the Indonesian. Well, I took all the collaboration videos off, and I put them on the Indonesian collab channel. So that's where all of the covers with Alip Ba Ta, Dima Senapati, Josephine Alexandra, Felix Sawan, they're all over on that channel now, the Indonesian collabs. And now I've changed it to also Indonesian collabs and reactions, and I'm slowly uploading all of the Alip Ba Ta reactions onto that channel now. So everything is going to be over there now. That just makes it a lot easier if you're into that sort of content, anything Indonesian, covers, collaborations, stuff. And there are a couple of collaborations I'm working on now. They're all over on that other channel. So that's going to really help kind of people focus on that channel. And then I started doing this behind the movies one. And the idea behind the movies was, it's about, for me, it was a case of there's a lot of content out there that you don't get to see because it's no longer available on Netflix. You can't watch it on Netflix. They don't do behind the scenes stuff on Netflix. They don't see deleted scenes, blooper reels, stuff like that. So what I wanted to do was I set up a completely separate channel, and that was all it was. It was that. The problem was yes, it was doing well. It gained subscribers, it gained views, but at the same time, they wouldn't allow me to monetize the channel. Because of its video content. So what I had to do was I decided that this was around the same time as that I decided to effectively hibernate this channel. So I put this one in hibernation with the express plan at the time that I wouldn't do anything on this channel till 2024 was the original plan. I was going to literally just leave this for 6 months, leave it alone, come back with a new plan, because I had a plan for this channel in the long run, and I still do. I still feel that there is something I'm going to do with this that will work within the current context. But what I'm going to do is I then needed a channel that I could put the video content on that was already monetized. So that's why Dave went from being a reaction-y channel to a movies and music channel. So it does mean that it's kind of very split with the existing kind of clients. But the way I look at it, yes, it says I've got 130,000 subscribers, but I haven't. I question how many of those are robot subscribers, because simply put, you get all these subscribers and then they don't have much in their accounts. I think they're all like, but I don't see the point of it. Why would you have Alec Bartar subscriber boost in views unless it was specifically to do something with Alec Bartar in the early days? That's a conversation for another video. I think maybe I'll do something about that. But yeah, that's kind of significantly impacted the channel. So yeah, currently what's going to happen on this channel while we're in this current room that I'm filming in, which we've been filming in for now, 3 years? So we did a year in the old house, and then we've had about 3 years here in different formats of either here on the sofa or in the chair or whatever it was. That's going to stay as it is until hopefully near the end of this year, when we're hoping that we'll have a new house. I'll be building some studio rooms, and once the studios are built, they'll be designed with studio filming as part of that plan. I'll be able to do some proper musical breakdowns. It'll just look a lot better. And there's a whole load of other stuff that I'm planning to do with that particular channel, and that will be when I'll be able to launch the channels properly again. That was what I was originally going to mothball the channel for, so that I could launch it again properly. But obviously I needed an output for the video content, so the movies and stuff is just the reason why this channel didn't get mothballed as long as I thought it was, i.e. not 6 months but 6 days. So yeah, that's what's going on there. I was interested, what do people think about when I was talking about the movie content on the channel? So reboots or remakes. Someone was talking that there was talk about Back to the Future being remade, which I can't believe anyone would want to do that or consider even doing that. Such a classic film. Well, why do people make remakes of classic films? Now there are, if I can find it up on here, I did have a list of remakes, and there are some that I didn't even understand. I mean, it makes sense, for instance, like let's say like something like Annie. Annie was made in 1982. I didn't even know that in 1999 it had a Disney remake. No idea. I knew about the 2014 remake, and that made sense. It brought it to a whole new audience. Films like Around the World in 80 Days, that came out in 1956, had a remake in 2004. The fact is in that 50-year period, filmmaking had changed so much that it made complete sense to bring that film to a whole new audience. But there are films, I'm going to try and see if I can find them, where remakes have been done. Now, sometimes it could be because of like Japanese audience, it'll be made in like some Asian country, and it doesn't kind of transfer as easily, so they need to make it for a Western audience to make it make more sense. So it adapts, and that makes sense. But sometimes that has actually ruined the film. So I'm just having a look here. So Bad News Bears 1976 2005 makes sense probably. I'm just trying to see if there's any on here. Yeah, like so Bedazzled 1967 and then redone in 2000s makes sense. So taking older films from like 20, 30 years makes sense. But I don't know about like this is a good example. Dirty Rotten Scoundrels 1968, and then 1988, and The Hustle that came out in 2019, which was a gender swap. So they've taken it, they spun it on its head. They do a lot of that with like the body swap ones. Here's one. Blazing Saddles 1974. Apparently Paws of Fury, The Legend of Hank is a remake. I have never heard of that. And why wouldn't you just play with the Blazing Saddles, especially when it's a classic film? Here we go. Brewster's Millions. Do you know 1914 Brewster's Millions has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different remake versions, including obviously the 1995 or 1985 Brewster's Millions that I knew about. But yeah, a bit of crazy. Okay, who do we have? Peter Pan. Who's Peter Pan? I'm going to let Peter Pan in. Who's Peter Pan? Peter Pan. Peter Pan. Peter Pan. Is he there? Ooh. Always like someone to join in the chat. Do we have someone joining? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe Peter's not there. Maybe Peter is there. Connecting audio. No. It happens sometimes. Someone tries to join and it doesn't always work. It's happened a couple of times. Or they drop in. I've had people that have dropped up and said they disappeared off the list, saying that someone wants to join the chat and then they disappear off. So people get shy. People don't always want to sort of get involved in the live streams and suddenly go, "Oh, I don't have anything to say," and then someone does. So don't know why it's not connecting in. I'm going to drop you. Give you 1 second, Peter, if you come back through. No. No idea. Peter, if you're there, can't hear you, can't see you. So, yeah, we're going to have to bump you back out the room, I'm afraid. Sorry, Peter, if you managed it before, try and join back in again. I'm happy to always have a chat. If you can't get through, you can always put a question into the description down below in the actual chat itself. Right, what other topics have we got on the chat today? Oh yeah, I was thinking about, are visualizers a good thing? Because this is one thing I've come across with like music videos, is you go into these music videos. As a band like Sleep Token do this a lot, and I'm not a fan of visualizers. And I'm wondering if it's just because of how I listen to music. I listen to music with the idea that I'm always doing other things when I listen to music. So I like to be able to, if I'm going to watch a music video, I want to watch a music video, not some graphic moving around. I find it a distraction. Don't know about anyone else. Do you find visualizers a bit of a distraction? I think they are. I don't think they're worth it. Why not just shoot an actual music video? Maybe it's because they're a lot cheaper, because you can have the same image just moving around. I don't know. Maybe that is it a case that people use for the visualizers and then just kind of go, that's a way of getting around expensive videos, and we'll call it creative. Don't know, maybe. What else we got? Why did bands continue to work like it's the 1980s? Okay, this is something that's bugging the crap out of me recently. So we've got, the world has most definitely changed for bands. The world that musicians live in, you cannot make a living off of being a gigging, touring musician. Not really. You need to be out on the road on the big festival circuits, etc., to really make it viable. You don't make your money from CD sales, although I still think CDs are worth it. There are definitely people who collect it, and I think you really should keep putting those out. And it's people like to own something tangible with the streaming services like Netflix's and Spotify's and Deezer or whatever it might be. They are kind of ruining it in a way for audiophiles. So I think people like the idea of owning something CDs. So with the band Telescribe, we are definitely looking down the route of CDs, because digital downloads, CDs, and paid. Why give away stuff for free? We'll probably do a couple of tracks that will be put up on Spotify, but apart from that, we're not putting the whole album on Spotify. It's like, screw Spotify. No, why should we? This is the thing that I think bands are giving away all of their elements of their music for free on the concept that you get your music out there. And I kind of understand it, because at a certain level you're like, there's no value in it. But if you've just spent, you're still going to the recording studio, which is another big debate. You go to a recording studio, you spend time in the recording studio, filming and or video recording your album, etc. So you do all of that work, you do all that recording, spend all those hundreds and thousands of pounds to record these songs, and then you go here, have it for free on the idea that hopefully someone will like us. And then you go and play gigs in pubs around the corner to no one. They're still doing this idea of booking gig, like there's a big gig going pub crowd. That doesn't exist. That crowd no longer exists. It's too expensive for people to go out on a regular basis to go and watch bands, so people don't do it. But the bands are still in the idea that you can build your following up on the gigging circuit. You've got to be unique enough, powerful enough that word of mouth will keep spreading, and you can get that word of mouth. Now, word of mouth is great at the moment. So bands like Sleep Token have done a huge amount of work, right? That they've managed to build this mystique around themselves that means that the fans are promoting them. They're not having to use, well, they are using, but they don't have to rely purely on PR companies to push them. The fans do it for them, and that's really important. And that's what I think bands are really just missing. They're not getting what's that in this day and age. You may have to sort of like remove some of the quality in your production. Maybe you can, unless you're a big band that can afford to do the studio element, maybe you need to sort of strip that right back down to home productions and home videos, and you've got to think outside the box. It's got to be even harder now for musicians and bands. You've got to be cleverer than you were in the 80s. You could just put an album out and get your PR company to put a load of press to things like Metal Hammer, Kerrang, etc., and they would do the work for you. That doesn't exist anymore. Simply put, you just have to get on with it. And I think there is investment, there is work that has to be done, but bands have just you've got to go out completely outside the box on this. Be creative, come up with new ideas, and think about how you're going to portray that music over, and stop just playing every gig under the sun. Like this weekend, so many bands I know are playing gigs, but you get a choice. You can only afford to go to one of the gigs. So which gig do you go to? Which bands do you not see? And because like festivals, we've talked about festivals on the ADK channel before. There are so many every weekend. There's another gig or another festival going on. So what do? You go to the festival, see more bands, but then the local gigs don't get any support and the local venues don't get any coverage. So I don't know. You decide how you want to play that one. I don't really mind, but it looks like Peter wasn't going to make himself back in there, so I was ashamed about that one. Would have been good to get some ideas. Okay, I don't think I have much more to say on this today. So what am I going to do today? I might go do some filming and recording stuff, but I really do want to encourage people to kind of get involved. I do know that I want to move away from this format of sitting on a sofa talking to people. It's not that exciting, is it? It's just me talking, but that will change hopefully over time. But yeah, just want to say thank you for those that have stopped by to have a quick check of the channel, and I will see you. Make sure you go to the Indonesian Indonesian collaborations and reactions channel if you're looking for any of that content. Check out the ADK channel for more rock and metal reviews, and obviously if you like movies, and there will be some more rock and metal content coming on this channel over time. But if you like that sort of stuff, check out this channel as well, and please do watch some of the other videos. It really does help. Take care.